Episode 22, Mr. White.
Episode 22. We just keep on climbing and we keep on getting more guests. And man, I got to shout you out because I don't know how the hell you're tracking all these people down, but very interesting people, dynamic people. I'm impressed. I'll say it.
I could recognize talent. I can recognize when someone's got a good conversation, life experiences.
Something to say, a story.
Yeah. It can't always be about this drama out here to get clicks on the internet and shit like that. We're about the conversation. We're about the youth here in the right path. So yeah, the people I've been reaching out to, they got a good message. So I'm glad you recognize that.
Absolutely, man. And today's guest, I'd like to introduce you to Slim.
Slim, everybody.
So I guess before we kick everything off, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone where you're from originally?
Commonly known as Bompton Jack Dripper, but I'm Slim 800. I'm from Compton, California. My neck of the woods, we say Bompton. And shit, I currently reside in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Nice. When did you move to Vegas?
Like 2013.
Oh, yeah. So you've been up there for a minute now then.
Yeah.
You still go back out home though?
Definitely. Not as much as I want to or as much as I should, but shit, when you're preoccupied, like I'm in the streets, so I got street shit to deal with. I'm a husband, a father, a grandfather. I work, so I'm in a motorcycle club, so it's a lot of juggling. You know what I mean, in my life.
Fuck yeah, a grandfather. You don't look a day over 36.
Yeah, for sure over 36. Definitely.
You went through Vegas right through the pandemic and everything. What was it like? Was it trippy, like seeing the strip empty?
Well, that's the thing about living in Vegas. When you live in Vegas, you really don't go to the strip too much. I don't think nobody that really lives here, even the people that are from here, they're more Fremont people, or they have their own little hangout spots, these certain little clubs, certain projects, certain blocks, you know what I mean? So it wasn't too weird to me. I worked through the whole pandemic, so I wasn't laid off or I wasn't, financially strapped or nothing like that. It's kind of crazy because when a lot of people were doing bad through the pandemic, my stupid ass was buying cars and motorcycles. I work every day, you know what I mean? I work and, try to do my best to provide for my family. So I was able to obtain a few toys when people were going through some unfortunate circumstances. I was like, able to cash out, take advantage.
Yeah, that's what's up. Let's take it back to Compton. Did you come from a big family or were you an only child? What's the story there?
So my thing is I'm Middle Eastern, I'm Arab, right? But I was born in Inglewood, California. So I get to Compton because the guy that I call dad, the only dad I know, he's from Compton, from an area, a neighborhood called Fruit Town. You know what I mean? My dad is not like a gang member. You know what I mean? You don't have to be a gang member to kind of like be from Fruit Town. Like, in the way I mean it is like, you might have a family that stays in the neighborhood. None of the people gang bang or anything like that. And it's just like, oh, where y'all from? Oh, we don't bang, but we stay in Fruit Town. It's like, oh, they from Fruit Town. They stay in Fruit Town. People would just give them that tag. They from Fruit Town. Like the whole family stays there. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do they say? Guilty by affiliation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what were you doing growing up there day to day as a kid?
I was talking to my wife sometime. My wife's from Compton. She's from a neighborhood called Cedar Block, Power Group. And I don't know where these shits used to come from in our neighborhood. They look like shit that you would wrap spools of wire around, like big spools, like big ass wooden shits, like they had wheels on them in a little part that like something was wrapped around it. You know what I mean? And I don't know where them motherfuckers came from, but we used to walk on them shits, like when you walk like toward the edge of it, it's like you're gonna fall, but you keep walking, stepping, that motherfucker starts rolling. You roll that motherfucker down the street. We used to get the milk cartons or crates, whatever you call them, the crates. And we would put like boards on them and ride our bikes and jump them motherfuckers.
Nice.
We had an elementary school right there on my, well, I'll say on my street. Technically it's not, but you can see it from my porch. I was raised on Plum Street on the 800 block of Plum. So I went to George Washington Elementary School, and there, you know, like typical kids in neighborhoods, we hopped the gate, or, you know, if our size, if we weren't too big, you know, the gate gives you some slack. You can kind of slide through that shit and go inside the school and play basketball, shit like that. As we got older, we started riding like mini bikes, little mopeds. We started riding dirt bikes in the canals and in that same elementary school. You know, typical kid shit. You know, I don't think anything different from the average kid. It's just we were average kids in a non-average area, if that makes
100. When you were young, did you have any role models? And it doesn't necessarily have to be like celebrity, it could be like people in the neighborhood you looked up to, but did you have somebody to guide you on?
There's a few, and I definitely want to give them their props. First is my grandfather, Richard Johnson, who's not with us anymore. That's my dad's dad. One of the best men I've ever been honored to meet in my life. Never knowing he was a step granddaddy. I never knew my stepdad was my stepdad. They never told me nothing. You know, like we got different last names. I never really thought about that. It's just like my dad's light skin. He has curly hair. I'm mixed, so I'm light skinned. I have curly hair. All I remember is my grandma, my granddaddy. Like I don't remember nothing else. You know what I mean? So my grandfather, for sure, he's one. I have an Uncle Beaver that's still with us. My birth mom's oldest brother. Very stand-up nigga, man. He's a truck driver. He's been driving trucks, if I'm not mistaken, since he was like 17. One of the reasons, or a few of the reasons he's my role model is he showed me dedication, you know, waking up at 3 a.m. every morning to get in that truck and make it to wherever he has to be to get that load to provide for my auntie and my cousins and myself, because he had legal custody of me at one time. So to provide for us, shall I say, you know what I mean? He, not no lying ass nigga, you know, he's gonna tell you straight up what it is, whether you like it or not. He could be your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on how you look at him, because if you go to him and ask him some shit that you know he's going to tell you his truth that you really don't want to hear, then you're going to be like, oh, he's against me. But you already knew he's going to tell you the truth when you ask him. And when you do good, he's going to pat you on the back. You know, real strong dude. He's one of the people that gave us morals. Me and my cousins, you know, go out there and cut the grass, water the grass, wash the car, dry the car. He always had a nice house, a home. He and his wife, you know, my cousins. When the Lexus first came out, he was the first person I ever knew with a Lexus, first person with a Camry, Cadillacs. Like, he's the ideal, like, of hard work pays off. Like, he's really that American story. I'm gonna get up and go to work and it's all gonna pay off. Fortunately for him, he's in a profession where he's always been an owner operator for the vast majority of his career. So he ain't never been, you know, on the hour. He's always getting percentages. You know what I mean? So he's always made more money than the average trucker. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like some of those traits carried on with you because you're a hard worker by the sounds of it.
If you don't work, you don't eat. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, you have two ways to go about it. You can do illegal activities like I've done in the past that eventually catch up to you, like it's done to me in the past. Or you can kind of like bite the bullet and say, let me do this shit that they're saying do. If I get up and go to work every day and pay my taxes and get a driver's license and have auto insurance and motorcycle insurance and I'm paying the mortgage and do it. If I do everything they tell me to do, then my life should be all right. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say it's all right, like how my uncle's shit was, but for me being like, you know, a multi-felon, my uncle's a non-felon, he's never been in trouble. You know what I mean? Nigga don't have no parking tickets or shit. From the hood, he's from Compton, raised in the cedar blocks, but he's just not that person. You know, he's just a different type of man, you know? For my situation, with as many times or, you know, time incarcerated, as early as I started getting in trouble, like I'm doing great. I'm doing great with all that. You know, when you put all that shit on the scale, I'm doing great. You know, me and my wife, we have multi vehicles. Like I got 5 cars by myself and a Harley. My wife got 2 cars. We like our home is nice. plenty of food. Like we don't
Living the
want.
dream.
I'm not gonna necessarily say it's a dream because shit, the dream is to wake up to all this shit and don't have to go to work to have it. That's a dream.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
You know,
ultimate goal. And you mentioned getting into some trouble early. How early are we talking?
I think the first time I got in trouble, I think I was like 8 or 9. We went to Riverside to visit some family, actually a city called Ruby though, in the Inland Empire area, you know. And it's this park, Karupa Park. And I guess like, you know, they have those public grills where anybody, you know, can barbecue, you know, the park grills.
Yeah.
And my stupid ass put something in there to make it catch fire and threw it in the trash. I'm walking with my mom and my grandma, mind you. And that shit got kind of big. Shit, I was born in 81. That was like the, what, fucking in 80 something, like 88, 89, you know, some shit like that. So it wasn't cameras, it wasn't no camera phones. It wasn't by like, ooh, I seen them. Like, I don't know how the fuck they knew, but they knew.
You're a member of the Fruit Town Pirus then? What
Yeah.
was your earliest introduction to the Pirus?
I think in my home, my uncle, my dad's older brother, he has it tatted on him. You know, he's the one you saw hanging out in the streets. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm like him because every individual is who they are. You can never mimic or be anybody else. You know, you guys are great interviewers. No matter how good I think I could be, if that's not my lane, that's not my lane. I can never be as good as you. Like my uncle, like the drive that he has to drive that truck. Some people are truck drivers by trade, and some people like that's just what they do. Like if you ever seen a motherfucker like in prison, motherfucker been smoking crack his whole life. He hasn't been good for shit. Get to prison, get healthy. Next thing you know, this motherfucker's drawing portraits of people that's popping out the pit. Like, wow, you're a real talented motherfucker, or cut hair better than anybody on the unit, or you know, could just create shit, make tattoo guns out of angel fucking wire and a bolt. Like, damn, bro. Like, you're smart as a motherfucker, but in the world, you smoke crack. Like, you know what I mean? You just got to find what you're good at, you know? To stay on track, you know, my introduction would be like my uncle. So I'm not comparing myself to him, but physically, I'm like him. We're both tall, skinny, lanky, you know, kind of quiet, non confrontational, but willing, you know, if provoked.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that comes with being a human being, man, woman, child, like a dog. You know, the dog is pit in the corner. And it's a matter of time before the dog starts barking, trying to snap and get his way out the corner. So, you know, when I say, you know, willing, I'm just saying I'm willing to do what any other man or woman is willing to do to keep their life.
Absolutely. And growing up, was it an option to not be affiliated with anyone, or were you basically, you know, it was just the way it kind of was? You grew up in that area.
I do want to say this about my neighborhood. We have some of the best homies, you know, the older homies. It's never, I never was forced. I can't speak for nobody else again. I just know growing up, you're raised on these streets. Everybody's raised on these streets, and the generation before you, they're raised on these streets. So your dad is already homies with these people, and then they have kids, and you're one of his kids, and y'all kids are raised together. You just grow up like it's like a domino effect. One does it, and the rest kind of do it, type shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Logical explanation I have for it. Why you get it in the masses, by the numbers, by the different generations, is like a domino effect. You know, that group has a big brother that's doing it. You too young to do it. You're like, nah, go in the house, go in the house. But when you are able to stay outside, you done already seen what your brother and his homies do, or your cousin, or your dad, or whomever that influence is in your life. It's like a domino effect. You do it. Then whoever that nigga is close to you, more than likely he's gonna do it. And whoever that person is close to him, more than likely he's gonna do it. Next thing you know, you just have another generation of that gang from that area. It was never pressure in my neighborhood. At least I never felt it. With me, I just felt like I had to physically go through the initiation so I could actually say like I'm from Fruit Town.
Yeah.
It's not under any false like pretense or like I just don't want to be one of the people like, you know, when people say, did you ever get put, yeah, who put you on? Yeah, this is the person that put me on, and that person can stamp that, right? And then you got maybe some people that didn't go through that. And some people may feel some type of way, like I never heard this person got put on, or they did or they didn't, or whatever. You know, different people feel different ways. Me, like I said, I'm a pretty mild person. I really don't have no ill feelings. Never really had no ill feelings toward nobody, nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm not with the co-signing the DP a grown man or nothing like that. You know, like nowadays you see on the internet, there's been a couple people who have some unfortunate situations in their neighborhoods, or you know, the areas where they come from, and you know, other grown men felt the need to like basically whip his ass. Let me discipline you the way I do my child. And it's like, you're a whole man with children at home. Like, you know, that no, I don't believe in that. I believe, you know, maybe if one person has a problem with another person, without the influence of the masses, if these two people decide like this is what we have to do, fight to get through it, then so be it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
not, or not one person constantly pushing the other one. You can see don't want to fight and you're making him fight. No, that's not cool. You know, if a person don't want to fight, don't make them fight. Like, you know, people, everybody from gang, like from the gang, are not fighters. Everybody's not killers. Everybody's not shooters. Everybody's not hustlers. You have prolific people that are part of the gang. They've never been in trouble. They're in high positions in these certain companies, or you know, they own trucking businesses, or this kind of carrier companies, or whatever the fuck they own, or whatever they're involved in. They've never been in trouble, but they're still from the neighborhood. Probably tatted body, got crip, power rule, all kind of different shit on them, but they've just never been in trouble. You got some dudes they call pretty boys, like they from the neighborhood. Everybody know he can't fight. He's just good talking to women and getting girls.
Mhm.
You know, you got some people that's what they know for, fighting, and everybody gets out their way because they know at the drop of a dime, this nigga will knock you out. If he's just having a bad day, you might just be the victim. You know,
Debo.
right? So I really don't think it's about the neighborhood. I just think on every block or in every area, so much of a radius, is one of those people or a couple of those people. It's not really necessarily on that neighborhood. Them niggas be tripping. I mean, if you were in depth with every single neighborhood, then I think you would see like shit happens in every single neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you became a member, did your life change at all? Or was it just same thing? You just had a title now.
Definitely changed. I started getting my ass kicked. It definitely started getting my ass kicked.
Was that with
So,
other sets?
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out to all my crib homies out there. They used to kick my ass. Yeah, man. They used to put much foot to my ass, bro. I'm like one of the guys. I'm for sure not a coward. I'm not gonna back down, but I'm one of the guys that, you know, I'm non-confrontational. Like I don't want to do too much fighting if I don't have to. That's not really my thing. You know what I mean? I'm just willing. You know what I'm saying? Past that, it's like the fighting thing just never worked. You know, I was willing to fight, get my ass beat the fuck up, you know, because I see the thing that fucked me up was I don't have no older siblings. So I never had to fight. And then I got a best friend, shout out to my homie Lucky Roo. He been gone 23 years. He just came home. As children, whoever even look at me weird, Lucky owned him. He owned him. That was my best friend. Our houses are right next door to each other on Plum Street. You feel me? And on some honest shit, it kind of seemed like when he went away, that's when I kind of started getting picked on. You know what I mean? People saw that Lucky ain't there to protect him, and they start beating my. They start to, oh boy, they took advantage of 23 years. You know.
Looking through your YouTube channel, you had mentioned that you went to prison for 13 years.
All the time together. That's all the time
together. It was all together, right?
Different times, I'm saying all together.
Oh, all together. Oh, okay. And I'm always curious what's going through someone's mind on the first day that they've ever gone to prison.
With me, my first time going to prison was in Texas. So for me, you're excited. I don't know why. So why the fuck you're excited to be in prison? Kind of excited. I guess it goes on the resume. You kind of feel like I want to be a gang member. So fighting, kicking ass or getting my ass kicked, check, I did that. Repping my neighborhood, no matter where I'm at, check, I did that. Walking the main line in prison, not going to protective custody, not joining no prison gangs, check, I did that.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a little exciting. And then it was also scary because a lot of people that I know that went to prison from home, they went to prison home. So when they went to prison, they kind of already knew somebody. Or somebody kind of like, hey man, ain't you such and such kid? Like, yeah, man, I know your daddy, I know your mama. Hey, come on, I'm gonna get you right. They probably had somebody. I was in Texas, bro, deep East Texas. There was nobody.
Yeah.
I kind of had to like wing shit, observe, peep. So, being that I didn't do no fighting. I didn't have not one fucking fight the whole time I was in prison.
That's impressive.
And not because I cowered down, because I walked around with my head up. I'm going to tell you some real shit. When I got to the Department of Corrections, the Texas Department of Corrections, it's shocking how many people were claiming California gangs. I didn't see nobody claiming my gang. All Crips, though. All Crips, for the most part. The Bloods I ran across, in my opinion, were Texas-based. I think, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it, I think my time was easy because these gentlemen were claiming California gangs, California-rooted gangs that had never been to California and didn't know anything other than whatever they're taught as far as gang politics toward these gangs, right? They know nothing else. I'm a walking movie for them at the time. Oh, you want to know about California? Like, bro, I'm from Compton. And they hear me talk, they're like, oh, he's not from out here. Like, you really from Los Angeles? Like, yeah. You had a dude, he had a 43 on his face. I'm like, I thought he might have been from California, like myself, I'm like, are you from Detroit Gangsters? He like, yeah. I'm like, where you off? 43rd? Where you off? Avalon, San Pedro? He like, huh? I'm like, what block? He like, nah, Kim folk, I'm from out here. I'm from Texas. Detroit. I'm like, oh, I'm like, my fault, no disrespect. Like, you from Cali? I'm like, yeah, like, we gonna chop it up. And boom, he became somebody that got close to me. Even with the Bloods, like, just their whole, like, how we think of Texas and how they thought of us. Both sides were wrong. You look at Texas, you think a bunch of slow niggas riding horses. Totally untrue. Even in East Texas, totally untrue. Niggas ride horses. They ride horses in Compton too, though. Okay, just Compton's not as big as Texas, so it's not as many horses. That's just the thing. They happen to have horses in their hoods. You get what I'm saying? So just talking to different people, Crip and Blood. I didn't see no Southsiders at all, no North Days. I just saw a gang called the Tango Blast. The name motto is either you blast, what did it say? You're not lasting if you're not blasting, or some shit like that. Like, and a lot of them were tight with Bloods because they were from like Baytown, Texas, and these little Houston, and they say Houston, and where they raised, the colors is red. They're not Bloods, but in the world they hung around niggas that are Bloods because they're raised in an area where the high school is red. That little town, they ain't red. Over here, this little town, they colors are purple and gold, like the Lakers, But next thing you know, you got Grape Street Crips over there. How did that happen? Well, it's just convenient. They were already into the purple shit. Their town brought them up on purple. This side brought them up on red. This side brought them up on blue. So then somebody go out there with the cousin Blood, and then you get what I'm saying? So when I just talked to these dudes, the niggas was just so into the shit I had to say. Like, to them, they call it knowledge. I was just telling them how it is. You know what I mean? So I think they respected me for being able to, like, just help them out a little bit, like just give them a little extra more than what they had. And a lot of them definitely helped me out by not packing me out because I'm from California. Not getting at me disrespectful because I did not choose to join their prison gang that I, respectfully declined. It was cool. It was cool. You know what I mean? I had a dude from 60s that taught me how to cut hair from Dallas, Texas. I had an older Blood gentleman that we call D-Town from Oak Cliff, Texas, that taught me how to shave. Never used a razor before. You know, he taught me how to shave. And a homie named Tony B, which he was from California. He was from 20 Bloods. I happened to run into him inside the Texas prison. He looked out a lot. He gave me a lot of principles and morals. Like, I'm a kid when I go to prison, so I'm in a chow hall. Say somebody don't want something, it's like some cake or something. You know, you wait from the past that shit too. I'm reaching over niggas in the middle while they're eating my big homie like blood. You can't, like, my nigga, you trying to get your shit hit, your jugular. He just taught me the politics, nothing gang related, just the politics to make it in prison, period.
It's the little blueprint.
Right, your gang mentality and do the rest for you, show you who to hang out with, who to cha-cha with, you know, where this is coming from, where that's coming from, you know what I mean, type shit. But that got me through prison though, bro. Just, I think just being from California, they respected my knowledge. And I definitely respect the gentleman in TDC that like just helped mold me to be a man. Like I said, as far as, you know, shit, I'm a kid. I come from straight from the barbershop, want to get a haircut, you know, in the hood. Right there on Rosecrans, Wilmington, we had a little barbershop. So I come from getting haircuts at the barbershop to now I'm in prison. You get there to Texas, everybody has to have the bald face, the bald everything. It's not one of them prisons you can go to and grow your hair. So if you had long hair, you know, kiss that shit goodbye. You only get 3 inches. Or you can't go to chow, you can't go to commissary. You have to be shaving every day. While you're in the commissary line, they walk up and look at you, motherfucker got too much hair, they kick you out the line, but you lost commissary for 2 weeks because in the time it takes for you to go back and shave, and I'm about to let you back out, all that other shit, like it's over. You know what I mean? So it's very strict. So, you know how like people tell you, like, oh, you don't get hair razor bumps if you shave like this, you know, go with the shit instead of going against the shit. Like, and shaving my head, showing me just like little different shit, showing me how to make little prison soaps and teaching me how to spread, how to make good prison food, and, really how to take care of myself. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they respected me. It was a mutual respect. And I think that's how I made it.
And how long were you in Texas?
Shit, I did 8 out there.
8 out there. So now let's cut to the next stint. You were excited going into Texas. What are you thinking going into your next?
The next one was all county time in California. I sat in the county for like 2 years fighting a carjacking at gunpoint.
Okay.
Oh, and is the county a total different politics, total different way than it was down in the prison?
Bro, I think any person that's incarcerated would definitely rather be in prison than in jail. They lock you down all the time. You got one phone. Well, I don't use the phone, so that part doesn't, include me. You just see people fighting over the phone, or they crack them doors and niggas run out to that. It's like a horse race when they crack the gate and they're off. That shit is almost sickening. You know what I mean? And the county is just fucked up. They charge you more for commissary. Again, that always like, okay, this last time I went to prison is out here in Vegas. Okay, look, in California, I do time at Robert Presley, and in West Valley, that's like Marietta, Temecula, California. Robert Presley is Riverside, and Southwest, like borderline Temecula, Marietta, something like that, right? Go from one jail to the other one, do that little county time on the carjacking at gunpoint. Trying to get about that shit. After all the time, they offered me governing the owner's car without consent, signed to that shit. See, all they're trying to do is get a guilty plea. They're just trying to another W, chalk one up. You know what I mean? You're young. You used to fucking smoking weed and fucking every night, hopping in your clean ass car, bumping music. Then it just got you locked up. You done did all this time. All this shit is waiting for you when you get out. And they tell me I can go home today if I just plead guilty to a way less charge. This is a misdemeanor. It's not even a fucking felony. At first, you're trying to give me 17 years. Now you tell me you go home tonight. And you what? Probation?
Easy choice.
So then I didn't get no trouble for a while. Then Vegas got in trouble. Then they got this shit, the North and South Tower at CCDC, Clark County Detention Center. And I guess because I'm gang affiliated, the level of crimes I committed in the past. I always fuck around and end up in this shit called the North Tower. You know, it's fucked up. The North Tower, like they open it up, you go to breakfast, you go back to the cell, you hear on the speakers, "Be ready for day room, gentlemen, be ready for day room." Like, all right, let's go out here, watch a little TV, probably read a newspaper, because I really don't watch TV. Even now, my wife, she gets mad because I don't watch TV, you know. So you got your mind made up, shower real quick. You know, they got 3 showers, the black, white, you know, and I'm not a racist. I'm just gonna say it how it said in there, black, white, and Mexican. You know what I mean? The showers. You thinking shit, I'm gonna take a shower real quick, maybe play some cards or some dominoes or read the paper. You know, I will indulge in the news. Maybe watch the news if they got the news on or something like that, you know. They cracked them doors, bro. I'm talking about the first nigga that got in the shower. He didn't even put the soap on his body. He's talking about North Tower on lockdown, North Tower on lockdown. Fuck yeah, North Tower on lockdown, North Tower on lockdown. Meanwhile, they have the South Tower. That's a door. They get them niggas free coffee in the morning. They bring the coffee machines, get complimentary coffee like at the Four Seasons and shit. I can't never make it to the South Tower.
Hopefully you never make it to the South Tower because you don't ever fucking find yourself back that way.
You know, I'm past that, but that's like how Vegas jail is. The prison, they changed it from the older gentleman that's been doing a lot of time there. They say it used to be one big yard. High Desert State Prison used to be one big yard. They broke that shit. They chopped that shit up and gave these certain buildings individual yards because I guess I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to assume, but whatever was going on, they made them divide the property to where like all these buildings had their own yards. When I got there, I ran into a lot of solid people, blood and crib. I ran into my little bro Chosen, my little bro Greedy Stone from BPS, rest in peace. My dude Stevie Lowe, he's from San Bernardino. He a San Bernardino crib. There's so many people I can name, bro. So many people I can name. Muslim brother Philly. Me and him later ended up in camp together, and we were the first Muslims to press the line where the prison actually honored Ramadan. Or at the time we deserved, and when other inmates could not use microwaves, they provided microwaves for us to heat our food up and everything like that. So we did that. Shout out to my boy Philly. Like, you remember what I was saying earlier about the dudes that do shit, they just never got caught? And that's how I was in prison. Like, you know, I was a good dude. I was a good inmate. I wasn't causing no trouble. You know, I associated myself with my Muslim brothers. We prayed together. You know, we broke bread together. We hugged each other. We loved each other. And, you know, the other side of me is I'm from Fruit Town Pirus. I need to go over here and chill with these guys too. I'm not behind Islam. You know, a lot of people go to prison and they don't know what their fate's going to be. And some of them hide behind religion. I'm proud of my religion. So I congregated. I fast. I went to Ramadan. I prayed. I led prayer. I did everything I was supposed to do to show and to prove and to give like a good detailed blueprint on how to carry yourself as a Muslim in prison. Myself, along with a lot of others. I'm not saying just me, but I'm just speaking of me, right? So I never got in trouble when I was doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing because you have Slim from Paru, then you have my government name, which is a born given God Muslim name. So the police, they hear about Slim, but they don't know Slim and the Muslim is the same person. They just see me walking with my hands crossed in front of me. I'm very polite, which I'm like that anyways. I'm very mannerable. Just never got in trouble for shit. No write-ups, no nothing. Made parole on my first parole hearing, everything. Made it to camp. Again, easy time. I definitely got big in there. I went from weighing like 155, maybe 150. I got out weighing 210. Definitely muscle, I worked out. I started working out toward the end. Became a push-up king, a body press king. Like I really was kind of big. I got pictures on my Instagram, you know, to back up what I'm saying. You look at the dates and you're like, damn, this guy was kind of big. But I worked out hard, you know, 1,000 push-ups every morning before I even go outside to the yard to exercise. As you're getting bigger, you really don't recognize how big you are. It takes other people to kind of like, damn, like you're getting big. And I had a few people telling me that. I'm like, I don't see it. And then one day I took a picture at the prison for my son. And I looked at the picture. I'm like, fuck, that's me. I look like, they're like, yeah, shit. And that motivated me to go even harder. You know what I mean? So, you know,
yeah, you're seeing those results.
Definitely. And I definitely saw what creatine does for you as well.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of motivation and having the willingness to stick to a regimen like that.
Not really. I'm going to tell you what, when you're in prison, you don't have shit to do. You're looking for a reason to get tired so you can go to sleep. You don't have the woman bothering you. You might have a little punk ass job in there. When I was in camp, I had to clean windows. That's how I got my good time, cleaning windows. I got paid with good time. Other guys fought in fires, got paid cash plus good time. You know, just different little jobs they had for us. And that's, you know, how you got your good time and shit like that. So
let's take it back real quick to Compton.
sure.
When you joined, like we always hear people talking about gang life in a negative way. It's always negative this. Everybody sees the negative consequences, but we're never told about the kid that was taken off the streets, given a meal, given a place to stay. Would you be able to tell the listeners about some of the positive aspects that you've experienced being a blood?
Well, for me, shit, it was all negative at first because it was hard to be affiliated with that shit. Everybody was Crips, so I was getting my ass kicked all the time. So there definitely were no benefits in the beginning. But I do remember two things that really stick out. Like besides the homie Lucky always looking out for me. I got two homies. One is Soldier Boy's manager, Wagstar. You know what I mean? And I like to call him my cousin. We're like family. We're raised in the same block. I've been knowing him as long as I've been knowing myself, right? And the other story is about my homie Martell and Pac-Man, rest in peace. They're both resting in peace. So the first one about Wack, you know, shout out to Wackstar. I went to Dominguez High School in Compton. Now, geographically, in my opinion, it would be like a South Side or more of a blood school by geographics, by the area surrounding it. You know, Crip school, bro, for sure. At least during the time I went there, for sure, Crip school. I was getting my ass whooped. I already have my neighborhood tattooed on me. You know, I got like an old English F right here and a T right there. I'm a little nigga. I'm thinking these dudes ain't paying no attention to me, you know? They was paying attention. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got it backwards. Wack came second. So same situation though, getting my ass whooped. I called my homie Martell, rest in peace. He had a white Expedition. His mama truck, him, my homie Pac-Man, and I want to say my nigga Wimpy, which is Wack's little brother, pulled up to Dominguez High School. They showed up and showed out. Shit was cool for a minute. I had a lot of eyes on me. People was talking shit, like, oh, that disrespectful word ass nigga had his people come up here. They socked the homies up, whatever, you know. After that, the heat kind of turned back up. You know, I got a little cocky. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably self-inflicted, you know. When I look back, you know, being the older me, looking at the younger me, it was probably self-inflicted. You know, back then I thought I was being picked on. I called Wack. It wasn't even, you know, calling them. Like back then it was pagers. I remember paging. You can call the phone back. He called me back on the phone right there at Dominguez High School, you know. You know, I call him by his name, he call him by my name, but like, you know, for the internet, I was just like, whack. And these niggas are beating my ass. He laughed at me and shit. He like, where you at? Looking at the niggas high school. So I'm on my way. I never saw him when he came up there. He for sure came because the Crips talked about him. I don't know what he did though. I missed it. Like I don't know how I missed it. Waiting for him, I missed it. And whatever he did, I didn't have no more problems at that school after that.
Oh shit.
Like, and he's not a very big dude physically.
Sounds like he cast a large shadow, though.
Not no little dude. I'm not saying it like that. If I'm not mistaken, Wack is probably like, I don't know, somewhere from like, I don't know, 5'7" to 5'10", something like that. You know, I love you, no disrespect, Wack. I'm just saying, like, and this is definitely to give him more praise. Like, he's shorter than me, put you that way. You know, he's my older relative. But that nigga presence is like Jurassic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like, I've never seen nothing about him, you know, that'd make you scared of him or nothing like that. Not saying it like that. He a good dude. You feel me? Niggas always smiling and shit. He's always looked out for me as kids. That's shit. You would think your parents would be the first person to show you some $100 bills. That's the first person in my life to show me $100 bills. Pockets. He was a kid, so shout out to Wack, man. Like whatever he did for me, which I know what he did. Like he came up there and stood up for me some way. I just don't know what the fuck he did. Like I never had no more problems after that. He's very recognized in the streets. You feel me? I had other people too. You know, I know we're trying to wrap this up. I just want to get everybody their flowers. You know, I might get into a car accident tomorrow. So from my neighborhood, I'm not going to no long details. You know, I got homies that molded me. My homie Smiley Rue, and everybody I'm speaking of are elders. You know what I mean? They're all elders. My homie Smiley, the homie Lil Joe, rest in peace, and his little brother Loquat. You know, they were around in my childhood, taught me a lot, and now they're still my elders. They were my elders then, they're my elders now. My homie Mexican Rob, he's more than like a homie. That's like my uncle. Like we're like really like blood, me and him, his kids, like his family, like, you know, they know that like we're really close. You know what I'm saying? My big homie Coke taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about cooking too. Dude is a dope cook. I guess this goes back to you talking about that positive shit from the Bloods, the Pirus. You know, from my experiences, my older homies are great, man. I got another homie a lot of people know because he's associated with WAC 100, my homie Lil John or John T. You know, and he's another person I talk to a lot, man, for advice. In my opinion, very non-judgmental, always willing to listen if he's not busy, if he don't have work, shit like that going on. I gotta shout out my homie Al Capone, aka Dirty Al. Like we always have our spats and go through our shit, but there's times where like I tell you, certain people that just don't want to fight. Fighting's not their thing. I'm that guy, you know. There's been time niggas want to beat my ass. Al made a lot of niggas turn it down. Like I never, every person he got into with behind my stupid ass, they all turned it down. Shit, man, it's so many people, bro. I want to shout out the lost ones, man. My homie Albert, rest in peace, off Plum Street. If he wouldn't have got killed at the age he got killed, I probably would have been like little Albert, you know, like little Al B or something like that. I was real close to him. Again, my homie Martell that pulled up for me, like I said, you know, my homie Martell pulled up, and his older brother Marcus, rest in peace. They're very instrumental in me growing up. Like they're the ones in the hood on our side of the hood had all the dirt bikes and the go-karts. So if you got to ride a dirt bike or something, it was Marcus and Martell shit. Marcus showed me my first real picture of a naked girl, and I know bitch out of a magazine, real a picture of a real woman that you could actually, oh, that's the girl in the picture. Like, you know, shit, Loquat and Lil Joe, they got me into the video games when I was little. Like countless nights at their house on Cherry playing Super Mario. You know, that keep me out of trouble, keep them out of trouble. You know, they're older homies. Shit, man, just a lot of people in the neighborhood, like I can honestly say I don't have no bad stories about nobody. And then also on another note, I got a gentleman I call my step pops, a dude my mom was with, Big Henry from Cedar Block Pirate. He taught me a lot. My mom was pretty strict. And when her and my dad separated for whatever reason, she was with this gentleman. And he was a good dude to me. You know, he was real good to me. All the dudes over there was good to me for the short time that I was over there on Arbutus. They was all good to me. You know, King Frog, Scarface, all them dudes, G-Ride, like all of them were good to me. You know, hey, go to the store for me, little blood. Go get me a soda. Back then, the soda's like 69 cents. He told me I keep the change. He gave me a $5 bill. The store's only like shit, 40 yards to the corner, maybe another 10 yards to the store, like 60-yard mission. So like 120 yards round trip, like for the change for sure. You know, back then, $4 shit, that was a few cavities. So all my homies were good to me. A lot of my homies was good to me. I can't say a lot of them, all of them were good, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a really good, close knit, like a real tight family back there with some really good fucking guidance, some people that drop that wisdom down on you and keep you straight.
There was a lot more older people around at the time, you know. A lot of the gentlemen I speak of, like I said, like shit, Pac-Man, he's gone. I got him tattooed on me right here. You can see this shit, but Pac-Man, Marcus, Martell, Albert, Lil Joe, Hellboy, Bub, like that's just a few. The homie Diamond, you know, rest in peace to homie Diamond. Um, so many homies have been good to me. Shit, my homie Tron saved me and the homie T-Roo ass one day from Elm Street. We getting our ass whooped at Dominguez. We trying to get up out of there. The homie Tron pull up in the Lycom D's, get us up out of there, get us back to the hood, you know, to the safety zone. My homie Throwdown, good nigga, always got my back, you know, always willing to stand up for me. Like anybody I'm missing, I superly apologize. There's so many of them, like because a lot of people probably don't have the childhood I had. I had a sheltered childhood by the older homies. I wasn't. That's why I don't know no negative shit. I don't really have them stories where the homies like, hey, go shoot this nigga. I don't have none of that. I don't have none of that. So everything I did was by choice.
Yeah. Yeah. What would your message be to the youth that are growing up thinking that wilding out is the way to fucking go? They're doing the stick ups, doing all this shit. What's your message to those kids?
You're born to die for sure. You're not born to be killed. It's a difference. You die because you live a nice life. You just might be old as a motherfucker, 80-something, catch pneumonia. It's a little too much for you, you die. Unfortunately, in your 50s or 60s, you might catch cancer, you die. That's life. To all my young brothers and sisters, black, white, brown, Africa, you know, fucking Brazil, the Nicaraguas, like, well, I don't give a fuck where you are, Canada, Great Britain, the UK, like, that shit really ain't worth it at the end of the day because we're claiming neighborhoods that none of us own. We're repping the color that don't rep us. Like you rep the flag don't rep you. So you're doing all this for a flag. Well, that flag, not the men behind the flag. I'm not speaking of that. I'm talking about the flag itself. Is they gonna stand up and do a magic trick like Moses' staff and come alive and kill the enemies? No, it's not. It's gonna get shot dead right there with your stupid ass. I definitely don't regret being a gang member. I definitely don't regret none of the hardships, none of the bad times, because everything I went through, because I survived it. That's the thing. I survived. A lot of people did not survive. So the thing I would say is like if you can make peace with a person, make peace, be prideful in what you represent. That's cool to be prideful because gangs have been around since life, you know, the Romans, the Persians, just everybody, the Chinese, all these armies were nothing but gangs. The armies are still gangs. The American army is a gang. The Chinese army is a gang. It's gang warfare everywhere. So, you know, we're never going to get past that. But if we can get peace, if we can get like two neighborhoods that are next to each other that really don't get along to get along, and it starts with the younger dudes because they're the ones in the streets. That you can find it in your heart, as they call it, the op. You catch an op slipping, to tell that nigga, I caught you slipping, but I'm gonna give you a pass. Let him make it home to his kids. And then it's like the feeling you get from that is gonna be good. Not just that, your life, your luck might change. You know, a law might look favorably on you. You could have killed that man and you chose different. You're wising up. You know, unfortunately, people done shit. So I'm not saying leave your protection at home. I'm not saying don't ride with it because of, you know, what you did in your past will never leave you. It's always gonna be part of you. And certain people may always have ill feelings. So you always gotta be ready to protect yourself.
Hold up, Slim. All we could hear is the music, man.
Sounded like an ice cream truck going by.
You're dropping wisdom and the music man's fucking taking it from you.
For sure, it's the ice cream truck going down the street. But what I was just saying is, if we can get the youngsters to feel more prideful in giving somebody a pass as opposed to, man, I should have killed that, but I should have, and feeling like it's a regret. It's not a regret. It should be a feeling of honor. Like, I let that man make it home to his wife and his kids, or as they say nowadays, I'm married, so I'll say my wife and my kids, but they might say the baby mama. There's a lot of women committing crimes, shooting people and shit. You can find it, if she could find it in her heart to let that lady make it home to her kids and her baby daddy or whatever. You know, it's one day at a time. And then it takes, you know, cool heads to prevail, calm heads to prevail. As the prophet Esau, peace be upon him, which you call him Jesus Christ, would say, you know, let he who has not sinned cast the first stone. None of us have stones. Can't none of us throw shit. You know what I mean? So off the rip, we can't judge nobody. Now it's time to start loving people, giving people passes, let them make it home. You know, be prideful in where you're from. You want to throw it up peacefully, like, man, you know I'm from over here. You know I'm from over here. All right, cool. That's love. That's love. That'd be a good thing. Unfortunately, I don't see it happen because of pride. Too much pride, not enough love.
Ain't that the truth? I can't find a better way to end it right there, Slim.
I got one more question.
Oh,
actually.
you got one more?
With saying that, what is the current climate right now between the Bloods and the Crips back in Compton?
And, well, first of all, I can't personally speak on it because I don't actually live in Compton anymore. I live in Vegas, you know.
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of Crips and Bloods kick it. Right now, it's more internal beef, Crip on Crip, blood on blood type shit. You know what I mean? With a little blood and Crip interference here and there. That's just the way I perceive it. I'm not saying that to be the truth, but if you're asking for my eyes, what my eyes see, I see more now, less of the blood and Crip fighting. You see a lot of Bloods and Crips rapping together in these streets. A lot of Blood and Crip neighborhoods have actually clicked up together, you know, became allies, which is dope because that's a form of peace. You know, hopefully it'll last, but yeah, man.
Yeah, if that music can bring unity to each other, and then it could divide us so much as well with this drill rap coming out right now.
That's what I was going to say. The music is a hit and miss. It's the yin and the yang. One person to say a song that make you feel so good and spiritual, make you feel like going outside and hugging somebody and just telling your neighbor like I love you, telling your woman you love her, telling the kids I love you, and want to take them out, go kart racing, miniature golfing and shit. And you hear a song that'll just make your face look stupid. You'll hit your weed or that drug of choice and go outside, commit an act of genocide or something stupid like that, and just end up in a bad situation. So it's very hypnotizing. You got to remember, it said that, you know, when Allah, just so people understand, when Muslims say Allah, we're not saying that's God's name. You know, Allah does not mean God. Allah means the one God, right? So, respectfully to everybody's religion, you know, when Allah, the one God, created everything, he created Satan. And Satan, one of his specialties, one of his gifts, one of the things that he did with music So they try to say music is the work of the devil, but that's what he specialized in, music, and that's how he does his thing, hypnotizes and gets the people through the music. That's his stronghold on the world, at least one of them.
That fucking ice cream man too, man. He's doing something to me right now. Slim, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and hanging out with us tonight, bro. It's so much appreciated.
And no, I appreciate you guys for giving me a chance to talk, express myself and, have a real good conversation, something intellectual. That's what a lot of these people be missing. There's no intellect, it's all drama.
Absolutely, 100%. We'd love to have you back on again at some point as well, my man.
And I appreciate it. I love to be on, man, whenever, let me know when.
Sounds good. Sounds good, bro. Well, thank you very much. We'll let you go back to dinner, to the family. You take care, my friend. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Hey, you gentlemen as well. I salute you, man. Thank you for having me. Really
Take care, Slim.
'Cause it's just another day in Compton.